Human way and nature's way. I've been working on my tax and it's lots of headache. You place X to Y, A to C, back and forth, exchange rate is so, what account, and which entry where, back and forth, from this file, that file, so many of them. And I get tired. So I go for a walk, freshen up, walk around the corner where I see some trees growing and the ocean, then come back. And then focus on this task for, I don't know how long I did, maybe 40 minutes or 30 minutes, get tired. So the point here is how I see myself doing this without exhausted or complaining or suffering. The way I see it is fairly simple, but maybe I'll start from this story, which is the story of Lao Tzu in China, almost 2,500 years ago. And he was getting tired of the civilized life with lots of bureaucracies and protocols to go through. I don't know what age he was, but he left and went through this gate, and where he was stopped by someone asking him to write down the wisdom that he gained. So he did it, and it's called the Tao Te Ching. And then he went into the desert or some remote area. As you get older, I don't know if it's natural, but many people like the life in a simple way. And certainly it's because of the exhaustion that, and also the biological needs that you cannot do many things because of memory power, logic power, and all of that. So the way I look at it is like if you are sensitive to the aliveness, I often use the word waku waku, the Japanese word of some fountain bubbling up, indicating the energy. And if you know that waku waku gauge, the gauge to monitor how lively you are, that basically indicate how you are tired or exhausted or sometimes confused or in suffering, then you can figure out to get out of that. In nature, as you can see, the fish or the animals, whatever, or even trees or the vegetables, if it's too stressful, then they will take a rest. I can think of the cat sometimes or quite often being quiet, and then they may be active during the nighttime. In a similar manner, the humans have that animal element, of course, and we added the brain. So animal part have the way of sorting things out. And I use the word melting into nature, that we go into this space I call often as the Garden of Eden, that you don't use much brain power, or so you don't have a good and bad and right and wrong, or the knowledge is and beautiful or shame and all of that, except that we added the brain to learn those and then start to use the brain. So if you go back to this state, if I call melting into the nature, then you know how peaceful it is. Well, peaceful is the adjective, I guess, that there's a counter peaceful situation, but what I mean peaceful is the absolute state of being, which to me is peaceful. Well, sometimes it's not peaceful because if you are facing the lion or bear, then it's not that peaceful. But you are in that moment doing your best, and that's the nature's way of manifesting itself. And we came here, and we have that source everywhere. Even all the cells that we have is functioning with that as a base because we are made of the laws of universe. So we have this mind. I often say there's two universes. Mind has its universe, and then the nature has its own universe. But the absolute universe is nature's way that's manifesting everywhere, except the human have this wonderful or sometimes torturous faculty developed because of the mind. So back to the story of a human way or nature way. What I'm saying is that we, if you are tired and you notice tired, you need to go back to be sane in the nature's way. I use the term also middle way. So we are like a pendulum going back and forth using the brain. And if you are very accomplished in the sense that the brain functions like a natural way, if you're a professional, mastered some skills on the management, investment, or art, and music, any of those, then it becomes natural. But if it's not natural, as if you are learning the skill, or you have learned the skill but facing some difficulties, some unknown situation you fall into, then you need to kind of go back to that state. If you can imagine cat being quiet. So going through the tasks, I'm going through that back and forth process. Of course, as old age too, my eyes get tired, the brain get tired. But frustrating is not helpful because you make a mistake and that create more mistakes and you get more upset. So how to balance? That's the middle way again. We have this human way and nature's way, two universes, and there's a linkage. If we don't know the linkage and not perceive the stomach is hurting, because you're stressed and you're doing so much things, but the stomach is telling me, don't do that to me. If you don't have the faculty or realization or awareness of that, then you may be crucifying yourself. So this is, to me, very important that this thinking came all from my spiritual pursuit, interest in Zen, or the religions, and awakening experience and so forth, which I talked about in various videos. And then reflecting my work at, playing with the computer. I have even two computers to go back and forth and the big screen so that all the process can be easy. But if you only have one screen and one computer, of course it's going to be tiresome. And you wish you have three computers. If you don't, then you get, why does he have three computers and I don't? Or if you're unlucky to break one computer, then you suffer in a way. But all of that, we have to have us, the thought of this is the subjectivity is truth. Whatever the appearance from the people outside of you to look at how you're doing, it just doesn't matter for your own sanity. That, well, it may matter a little bit because you have a interaction with other people, so that sometimes you push a little bit forward your effort to get things done so that other people can benefit. But depending upon what magnitude you do, and that's what we need to have a way of knowing or strategizing or have a principle to navigate our life. And if we don't, we get burned out. So at work, if you imagine your job is to do A to B or X to Y, or moving things around, and then things change, so you have to change the formula and go through different protocols, or like in my case, accounting or tax, or going through some bureaucracy. And different country has its own rules and the regulations. And if you don't, and I have cases I forgot about it, I was not aware of it, and you may feel like you're paying a price. But if that's the case, let's not forget that that's not the end of the world. But let's go back to the source where we came from, the nature's way. And there's a way to do it. But if we are too occupied in our mind, the human way, or you can call it the human mind way, then, and not knowing the absolute process of how the universe is manifesting through you everywhere, then we are limiting and may cause more trouble. So this principle is the point of awakening, or related to that is the awareness of what that is. And I have posted various videos just for my own sake. But if there are people interested, I'll be happy to share, because I think fundamentally that's how we should live and find a destiny. And also relating to the society. If the society is going this direction, that direction, Ukraine, Russia, US, China, whatever the case is, the bureaucracy, the change of the rules, we get jolted. But let's learn how the society functions, and let's learn who we are, what we do, know thyself. And then related to that is a connection to the root of who we are. Call it nature's way. For the sake of discussion, it's an absolute way of how things manifest. And realizing that in Zen is the awakening, and many people are realizing that state of being in the now with a stillness, or something called empty-minded, or vast emptiness, nature's way, and align us not to lose the connection. That's fundamental. So we may not know the right direction because of the changing situations, how to navigate, but we should know the sign of the danger that we can sense, and we need to have the faculty and then use the tool that you may have in the brain to use the logic. But if you are too occupied in it and forget about the nature's way and how the stomach is functioning, or blood is flowing, or the hormone is going through, those wonderful, amazing miracle of the nature's way, the law of nature, the laws of the universe. And we need to, in my view, it will be very helpful to be connected and assure that we have that sense from moment to moment.